Okay, so this is the second video in my Getting More Out of Pentatonics series. If you haven't seen the first one, basically what I'm suggesting is that if you're feeling that you're stuck in a box with your pentatonic playing, that it could be because you don't have enough boxes. So our first lesson we did a couple of exercises like this. Okay, and that descending, and then also changing direction on the way up, so and I messed up there, but that's the kind of idea. So if you want to check out the first video, that will show you those three exercises, and sort of the concept of why I'm talking about this stuff. Now, the first exercises that I wanted to suggest for this, episode 2, was thinking about, obviously, hopefully we're fairly comfortable with going up and down, but probably this is the kind of exercises that I think might test you a bit on this. So aside from being pretty difficult to play because of the string skipping thing, and very difficult to play if you're doing it at any sort of speed, I think it's useful to try and conceptualize the shapes in this way, because you're playing in a non-up or down fashion, and then also non-adjacent strings, so just a bit slower. This is the idea. So you play the middle two strings, jump down to the strings outside of that, and then jump down to the very two outer strings, and then reverse that same thing but up a shape, and then up to the next position, so if you can play that fast, I think it might sound kind of weird but maybe interesting in context, but I suggest it more as a kind of exercise that gets you thinking about the shape in a slightly different way. Here's the next exercise, which is kind of the sort of lick you might hear quite a lot of, but it's basically ascending up 3 strings at a time. Exercise 2, we're in F sharp minor still, but we're starting in this position with the C sharp. So here's your normal F sharp, second position, third, fourth. And what we're doing is we're picking every note, and we're doing sort of sextuplets or triplets. So this kind of idea. So maintaining strict alternate picking for that, but you might want to also try legato stuff. Or some form of not legato like I just did there. Don't forget you can do this in every position, so so there's that one. Exercise 3 is a similar idea, but we're going to introduce a position shift with each string change. So again, same sort of all alternate picking idea, and something just to practice nice and slow to start with, but So there's probably a few different ways to finger all of these. I'd suggest starting with, on the ascending one, each shape start with your pointer finger. You might find using the pinky on the way down for each one works for you. As you get higher up in speed, you might want to find more efficient ways to do it, or but it's kind of completely up to you. Last of all is a way that you can practice each of your shapes and practice building speed on each of the shapes. So it's again a triplet kind of idea. So if you hold in the one shape and double pick at the start and the end of each one, so and in that way you can find out which of the shapes you're less comfortable with, and you can stay in time and stuff and still work on those individual shapes whilst staying in time with a metronome if you're using a metronome, or with a beat that's in your head. So yeah, just slowly. So yeah, those are a few extra exercises. Let me know if you find them helpful. I'm going to put the PDF for them up on my Patreon. And again, I guess that the main goal of each of these exercises is to try and build familiarity with the shapes. And it's up to you to put them in each key, and it's up to you to take some of those exercises through different positions. I've not written them out in all positions. Just because the point is that you take it and go, okay, well, is as valid as if I was in G minor, or so take each of those exercises and put them in as many keys as you can. At least you want to be putting them in a couple of different keys and trying them out. Yeah, and try and keep them clean and slow to start with. If you want to build up speed, that's kind of a thing that's an option, not necessarily that important, but